and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum, and welcome to Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. Okay, folks, we all know who this is, and we all know what happened to the old girl. So now becomes the fun part where we have to begin taking some of the pieces that we can use and try to start fixing them and straightening them out. This here is actually one of the brackets that goes to the fender and mounts to the frame, and basically as wind passes by it doesn't get caught in there and kind of pull out on the fender as you're going, say, down the highway or doing some stupid stuff like I do. Now, these pieces are pretty important and sometimes are difficult to get your hands on original equipment. Also, along with that, let's also face facts. You can make them, but living in an apartment complex, it is sometimes difficult to get the equipment that you need to do some of the body work or to fabricate pieces just like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically take this old one here, we're going to clean it up, get all the old surface rust off of it, fix any bits and bobs on it, and return it to its factory condition so it'll be ready to use again here on Project Spirit. Along with that, if you were going to reuse some of the banged up parts, like this little piece that goes down here at the bottom of the fender, you're going to have to straighten those parts. Now, we can do that, but this part is pretty well made on the new fender, which you guys already seen in the unboxing video where we showed off the brand new fender. So we really won't need this, but just in case, for some reason, there's something that we, may need to match up or anything like that, we're going to hang on to this piece. We might even straighten it out, but that doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to keep it. But we may need this for some sort of a reference as we begin to go through Project Spirit. Along with that, as many of the old bolts as we can hang on to, we will, because the simple fact that these old cars, when you work on cars like this, nuts and bolts and screws and things like that are your best friends. You can never have enough of them, and it seems like you're always in short supply. So we're going to do our best. I'm going to show you guys all the techniques that you're going to need to know about straightening out stuff like this and getting it back up to snuff. So I guess you could say the body work begins here. So stick around. Let's see where this goes. All right, folks. As best as I can show you with the camera setup we got. Basically, the first part of this is we need to basically try to straighten this out the best we can. Now, an anvil would be the best, or a vise, but that would require a workshop. We don't have that luxury. Again, we're back inside of an apartment. So what we have to do is we have to take our hammers and we have to tap this out the best of our ability and use the pavement without getting too dang tough with it. But this is just basically sheet metal that's been kind of, bent to give it the rigidity in this area of the car. So just tap it out. You don't have to get violent with it. Okay? As you can tell, cars don't like violence. Alright, folks, looking pretty doggone good. I'm pretty happy with this because pretty much what you see how this is actually 1,000 times straighter than it was, for one, and for two, even the factory didn't care if it was this straight. None of them really did, even back then. Today we don't think about that. Everyone thinks, oh, it's all laser cut and everything. No, there's still a great deal of imperfection that's in your vehicle. And the reason why that's the case, mass production. It's hard to get it exact dead on. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. So I'm pretty satisfied with this. One of the next steps is we have to get these pieces removed, cleaned up to the best of our ability, and of course they'll go back on, fresh, redone. And of course this entire bracket will have to be refreshed and redone and returned to as close to what we consider show worthy and good enough to use on an everyday driver. So there you have it, folks. From basically what was a mangled piece of rusty metal on Project Spirit is now straightened back out and cleaned up, ready for use once again. Folks, I know, again, there's going to be a lot of folks in the comments, I would have done it this way, I would have done it that way. Behind me is the apartment complex I live in. And a lot of times, in this particular case, what you're going to be dealing with, for a lot of folks, they're going to be spatially challenged. Even those that have their own garage and things like that, there's some tools that just don't have available to them. So, with what I showed you here, we were able to get everything back up to snuff, and basically that part is now ready to use again. No more rust, because we used the rust reformer. It's got a primer on it that should help protect it, but even further yet, we now have a coat of Rust-Oleum paint that'll now provide better protection than before with what the factory had to offer. All right, so that's where we stand right now. Okay, folks, that does bring us to our usual stopping point. Be sure to check out the Teespring store. All of the proceeds go right back into the Prince Magnum channel and helping with good old Project Spirit. Along with that, we're going to have to start relinking it again, but we do have a Patreon account, so there's an excellent chance there may be a link to it in the description below if you'd like to donate, become a member of the Prince Magnum channel through Patreon. We don't have to wait on YouTube. And along with that, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is, just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, no one out there has told you that they love you today. Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.